Hi there, this is Peggy with Spunky Plum, and I'm going to show you how to assemble the Tulip Shadow Box gift card greeting. It has this little sleeve on the back for a gift card. Of course, if you didn't want to send a gift card and you just want to use this as a greeting, just don't cut out or attach the sleeve on the back. But let's jump in and show you how to assemble this. I'm going to start with getting the gift card sleeve ready. I've already folded over the little flaps. So now I need to add the little backing. So how I like to do this, I put a little drop of glue in the very center, and then I just do a little drop between the tops of the petals, between the flowers petals. And then I take the backing piece and I just do a line of glue around all the edges. Let's just put that on there. And next I'm just gonna, excuse me, it's allergy season here, so I'm going to be struggling a little bit to not clear my throat during this. So again, we're just going to fold this over, and I'm going to put some glue on these little tabs. I'm going to try real close. I'm going to try hard not to get too close to this edge, this outer edge, because I don't want the glue to seep in and get on this interior part after I fold this piece over the flap. So there you go. If my glue seeps in, then it's going to keep this pocket from being full size and you won't be able to get your gift card in there, and we don't want that to happen. So, okay, that should be good. Next, I'm going to move on to the tulip portion. So I've already got the stem ready and the 3 pieces, so it's pretty straightforward here. The one with the 3 petals is on the bottom, the 2 petals goes on top of that, and then the single petal goes on top of that. We're just going to glue those pieces. Just do your best to line them up. Not too much glue there. Let me spread that out so it doesn't seep out. There we go, that looks good. Next, I'm going to take the base of the tulip with the leaves and center it on the backing. Now I should say real quick, there are 2 rectangle pieces in this design. The one that is to be used for your message, I put rounded corners on that to make it a little easier. The square corner, 90-degree corner one, that's for the backing of your tulip flower. And I happen to have a tulip embossing folder on hand, so I embossed that. You may notice that there's a little color added. I like to use colored pencils for shading. I know a lot of people use the ink pads, and I do have some ink pads and I use them occasionally, but I like to use colored pencils because I feel I get a little more control with the pencils. I also like that they don't dry out. They're much more economical, but if you're interested, here are the ones I use. The Prismacolor Premier. The Scholar ones work well too, but these Premier version, they blend a little better, easier. I like to use my finger and blend it. I also have a blending pencil, but I think even the scholarly ones, or I think they're just called Scholar, are a little less expensive, and they'll probably work just fine for you. Anyway, I'm going to put some glue on the back of the tulip piece, the stem and leaf. Now, I want to center this, and how I do it, my cutting mat here is laid out in inches. I'm going to use this line right here as my guide. So I want that to be center. So I'm going to move this over a little bit. So with that there, I can see that this end, this side edge is going to be between 1/4 and 1/2 inch over here. And this one, I go out 1, and it's going to be between 1/4 and 1/2 on that side. I hope I said that in a way that makes sense. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be exact. Just do your best to line it up. I'm going to hold the backing in place, and again, I'm using that white line as my center, and I'm just going to do my best to center that up. and just glue that in place. I'll add the actual flower portion. Now, if you wanted, you could use the foam dots and give that a little dimension, little 3D depth. The shadow box portion of the card is thick enough, deep enough there to accommodate for that. So that's totally up to you. If you want to add some foam dots, it would really make the card pop a little more, I think. I like how cute and subtle these colors are that I'm using on this one. Next, I will go to the sign that goes on the front of the card. This sign, use this one. It stands out a little better on camera. You don't need to use these pieces. You may want to send a card that just shows the gate and flowers on the outside, but my sister has a birthday right around the corner. It's a couple weeks away, but I'm actually going to send this card to my sister. So I wrote, "Happy birthday, sis." I used my Cricut software, the Design Space. Now I'm going to do my best to leave an equal border all the way around. You know, that bottom layer, to have it show up equally all the way around. There we go. That looks pretty good. Whoop. And I'll set that aside. Now I'm going to move on to the flower and petals. So these little hearts are kind of tiny that make the petals. So instead of putting the glue on the back of the petals, I'm going to put the glue on the flower piece. And what I'll try to do, if this shows up on camera well, is I'm just going to put 3 little glue dots in a triangle. So one up there, down, and I'll show you. Try to keep them small so that it doesn't seep out. But hopefully you can see that, just 3 little dots. Now I may put too much. The glue may seep out a little bit. We'll find out. It's not the end of the world. Just wipe off the excess. Nope, that actually turned out pretty well. And I'll do the same for the remaining flowers. I'm going to wipe that off because that's too far out to the side. Just wiping off the excess glue there. That's a little too far to the side. What I'll try to do as I lay this petal on is just kind of hold it at an angle and scrape that glue over a little bit and lay it down. Sorry, my little tweezer's in the way here. That looks pretty good. Now, you may want to add a little sequin in the very center, maybe a half pearl. That would really make that pop, add some more dimension. That's what's fun about making homemade cards, is there's so many different ways you could add designs, elements, and really make it your own. Okay, so I'm going to line these petals up with the petals shapes. There we go. Underneath. That looks pretty good. And I will set that aside. So next I'm going to move on to the frame. So this is the part that when you open it up and you see the shadow box, it's that nice little border that shows up from underneath. Just another little way to add a little unexpected pop or fun. So I like to do a thin line of glue close to the edge. Not too close because you don't want the glue to seep into the front. And then with this piece, I just glue the outer edge. Whoops, slid right off there. Here we go. I always struggle for my videos. If you've seen any of my other ones, I think I get a little stage fright, to be honest, but okay. So there's a score line here and a score line here. I don't know how well those will show up on the video, but you're going to want to center this between those score lines, and then also center it top to bottom on the card. So again, you're looking for that equal border of the darker color from the back. At least in my case, it's a darker color. And just try to keep that equal border all the way around. I'm gonna flip it over and look at the front, make sure no glue seeped out. And just press it down. That looks good. Sorry, I'm looking at my little cheat sheet of notes here. Okay. Next, I'm going to fold the card. Let me put the little pin on my glue here so the top doesn't dry out. Let's see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 score lines. And with each one, I'm just going to start at the right and just keep folding each one toward the left. Hopefully that makes sense. So there's that first one. And I'm just going to fold to the second one. Fold the third one. So hopefully that made sense. I just keep folding it in the same direction. I'll go ahead and crease those a little bit. Make sure I have nice score lines, nice folds. Okay, so for now I'm just going to flip the card over, and I'm going to add the gift card sleeve. So as this is here in front of me, I've got this cut out here to the left, so I'm going to be going to the center panel and glue the gift card on, gift card holder. What I like to do is put the gift card in first, and I'll show you why in just a second. Put the glue on the back side of the pocket or sleeve. Now, I'm not going to worry as much about the top on this one centering, but I do want to try to keep an equal border left to right and bottom. Just do my best and then press it down. And I just find if I'm holding on to the gift card, it makes it a little easier to put that pocket where I want it. I'll go ahead and take it out. I do design these sleeves for the gift cards to be a little snug, and that is intentional. I wouldn't want to have someone pull the card out of the envelope and have the gift card fall out. So I do intentionally make those snug. Not so snug that you can't get the gift card in, just that it's going to hold it nicely for you. Okay, now I'm going to keep the card just as I had it before. I've got the oval cut out on the left, the sleeve in the center. Now I'm going to add the gate to the front of the card. So it's always a fine balance trying to get enough glue. You don't want too little that it dries before you get to place this onto the card. You don't want so much that it seeps out. So again, with practice, we start figuring out how much glue each project needs. I tend to get too much and have it seep out on the front of things. I can tell those are too much, so I'm just going to wipe them off a little bit. Okay, so for the gate, I'm going to line it up at the bottom edge of the card and then try to center it left to right. So the bottom of the gate will line up with the bottom edge of the card, and then just try to center it. We're just going to eyeball it again. It doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. Just press that down. And now I will add the flowers with the leaves, of course. This is another element that if you wanted to use the foam dot and make it stand out from the card a little bit, this would be a cute element to do that with as well. You could center it, you can put it off to the side a little bit, but I'm just going to go ahead and center it on this one. And next I'm going to add the sign, and just as with the flower and leaf, if you wanted to put foam dots on this one to raise it up from the card, that would look pretty cool, I think. This, I just kind of place it where it looks good. I do try to center it left to right. And then just, I think I'm kind of like looking for an equal distance top and bottom. Just looking at that piece of the gate that goes like that, the little excess that's there, I want that to be similar to the excess there. That's what I'm going for. Okay, give that just a second. Make sure everything's adhered. Okay, we're going to turn this up over, and now we're going to go to the inside. We're going to glue the tulip section. Now these pieces back here, it doesn't really matter what order you glue them on. What really matters is that you get this tulip and this oval frame in before you fold up the card, because you'll be pretty stuck if you do it first. If you fold it first and try to get those in. Okay, so I'm just going to glue that there, and just as with many of the elements we've done here, we're going to try to keep an equal border all the way around the backing of the card. I want an equal border around this piece. So just do your best to center it within, we've got the, whoops, sorry, dropping things, within the fold lines, and then top to bottom as well. I think it's looking very cute. This is actually one of my favorite cards I've done to date that I've designed. It's one of those cards, yeah, it does take a little bit of time to create it, but not as much time as it looks like in terms of the making it to give to someone. That's what I mean by creating. It actually did take me a very long time to design it, but I really like this card. So the next thing I'm going to do is fold up the card. So this little flap that we bent over, we're going to put the glue on that piece. I don't want to get too close to this fold because I don't want the glue to seep out. So to do this, what I like to do, you have the two folds here. I'm going to fold that. It's hard to say that in a way that makes sense. Hopefully you can follow along. So fold that one, and then I'm going to line this edge up with the score line here. So to do that, I do have to apply a little pressure this direction to force it to stay where I want it. So once I do that, I just hold it down. I'm using a lot of force here, my fingers, to keep it in place, and I just fold this over. And initially I'm just going to kind of press on the very outer edge here, that part of the fold. And then I'll press down for the rest of it. And then I want to hurry up and open it up. I'm going to slide it a little bit. I just want to make sure that no glue seeped out, because if you get glue out here, when you close this, the card won't open fully. Okay, I'm going to just take a couple seconds here and make sure this all adheres really nicely. Okay, now we're left with the message. I used Cricut Design Space and added a message to this piece. And with this one, again, I'm going to center it, leave an equal border all the way around. I do find it's easier to do this fold first, you know, to finish assembling the card before applying this piece. You may want to do it before you fold the card. It's all what works for you. I just find that it's easier to see what I have left border-wise, what I have left to work with. Boy, I'm making a mess here. Okay, so again, let me get in, make sure it's in the camera in view here. I'm going to just try to center it. I didn't do a real good job, but we're going to go for it. It's a little crooked. I don't think my sister will even notice. Okay, so there's the front, the inside, and the back. You see, it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Oh, I keep getting glue all over. Okay, now we're going to move on to the envelope. All right, I've already folded it. I like to use the 20-pound weight paper because I like to have it white on the outside and look nice and crisp and fresh, and then have a surprise pop of color on the inside. So it's the 20-pound weight paper that you get in the pads, and I've already done all 4 of the folds. So with this, I'm going to put the side tabs to the inside, and this rectangle piece, I will put some glue on the outer edge here and here. And I'm just going to kind of hold those tabs in and then press this up. So there you go. You could be done if you wanted, but I like to add this little pop of color so you see it on the outside. So with this piece, you're going to, if you're using two-sided paper like me, put the white side facing up so that the yellow sticks out on the back. We're going to glue on this side, this piece here, not the part we're attaching. Since it's a little bigger, it'd be kind of hard to know exactly where to put the glue. So I'm going to have that fold line there. I'm going to put the glue close to it, but not too close because I don't want it to seep out. And then I'll just kind of stick close to my edges all the way around and a little inside. So I'm going to line up this part of the flap with the score line, the fold line, and I'll just try to center these top and bottom, or left and right, however you're holding it. And just press it down. Flip it over and just kind of press those edges on the front. There you have it. I'm not going to put the card in yet, just because I want to make sure that all glues. It'd be a shame to put that time into this card and tuck it in and have it stick in the envelope. So I like to give it some time to glue, for the glue to dry. But there you have it. I hope this made it easier for you to assemble. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.